Ohio has given us some very, very interesting stories, and this one is actually going to be a big, big update. A break in this case, a break in the face, this face. Whoa, these couple of faces. But what these individuals cause to happen to children, to a baby, is absolutely ridiculous. It's unacceptable. And it's probably going to break your heart. So, again, I want to warn you the details that you hear are probably going to disturb you. But nothing is worse than what these babies have to go through than what we listen through. What they go through and die through is way worse. We owe it to these kids to listen to their stories. Let me give you a disclaimer first, and then we'll go from there. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. We have somebody in the chat who confirmed my fears and said that the northeast side of Ohio is off the hook. I don't doubt you at all. And some of y'all were asking, let me see if I can get back to that picture real quick. Where is it at? We'll talk about that here in a moment. Hold on. Do I have to go the other way? Right there. This picture, y'all would say, somebody in the chat, who was that said that? I'm not going to call you out. You said, is this a man? No, that's actually considered a woman. That's a biological woman. I'll say it like that. So again, shout out to Law and Crime for this article, lawandcrime.com. An Ohio woman will spend at least 15 years behind bars. So this is a conclusion to this very tragic story. Will spend 15 years behind bars for the murder of her then girlfriend's 8-year-old son. In late June of 2024, the little boy right here by the name of Martonio Wilder, who was 8 years old, was found dead in the attic of his home, hidden in trash bags inside of a sleeping bag on Olmsted Avenue in Milo-Grogan neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio. On Thursday, Jonna Lowe, 24 years old. I don't know which one is Jonna. I'm assuming John, maybe the one on the right. I don't know. I don't remember. Was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole, which I don't think they should have gave him that, but whatever. After pleading guilty to 1 count each of murder and gross abuse of a corpse in Franklin County Common Pleas Court. So I think that would be the boyfriend, girlfriend on the right-hand side, I'm assuming. The man, girl. Think that's who that is. Under Buckeye state law, the condemned woman is eligible for parole after serving 15 years of her sentence. So that's the law. While the incidents leading up to the young boy's death likely lasted months before he finally perished, law enforcement became involved with the case in June 28th of 2024, when Martonio's mother, LaShonda Dolores Wilder, 33 years old. I hate that he was sticking his tongue out. That's always an indication that a boy is raised by a woman, but I digress. I think that's the mother on the left-hand side of the screen, the biological mother, LaShonda Dolores Wilder, 33 years old, called the police to report him missing. An Amber Alert was out on the airways, but was quickly called off. During the ensuing investigation, police found the child's body in the attic and were immediately suspicious about his manner of death. Lowe and Wilder allegedly fled the house soon after a missing persons report was filed, amid an initial search. Once officers brought a cadaver dog, Wilder allegedly became uncooperative and said that she did not want the canine inside the house. So the boy's mother left with Lowe and her other 2 children. Then, after being forced to secure a search warrant and finding the victim's remains, investigators were even more keen to speak with the 2 women. They turned themselves in the next day, probably trying to concoct a story together. An autopsy report determined that the little boy's manner of death was homicide caused by asphyxia by anterior neck compression. They might have choked him to death or hung him. You know how they hung them like slaves? hmm That was my initial video right there. You can go back and look at that. Very, very comprehensive video. There were also signs of systematic abuse. The medical examiner noted the victim also suffered blunt force trauma to his head, as well as severe malnutrition and dehydration. Starved him to death also. At the time of his death, he only weighed about 35 pounds and was about 49 inches tall. Starved him to death, beat him to death. The coroner also noted that he had severe loss of muscle mass, which would go with being starved. After the couple were indicted, the Franklin County District Attorney's Office alleged a history of abuse. Martonio was often locked in a closet to be kept away from food, according to an in-court reporter by Columbus-based ABC affiliate WSYX. The victim was also occasionally beaten and choked with an extension cord. 2 days before the child was found dead. Y'all see what these kids are going through? God dog. 2 days before he was found dead, he was beaten with a crutch and locked up in a coat closet. Lowe allegedly told detectives, according to the Columbus Dispatch. This was, she said, in line with unusual punishments dealt out to the boy, given out to him. He was full of life, Martonio's great aunt told the TV station outside of Franklin County Courthouse. He was so bright, he loved everybody. He just wanted to be loved. He would give you a hug. Martonio's cousin also spoke, noted that warning signs had been present long before. She was always keeping him in the corner, she said. He was always in the corner and everybody else was playing. What did he do now? Oh, he stole. What did he steal? Food? He's probably hungry. And it just baffles me that y'all have all of these signs and these kids still end up being murdered and they still end up dead. You see something, you're supposed to say something, and they don't. Sometimes they do, and it's never soon enough. Those signs, the child's cousin noted, apparently were not enough for child welfare authorities to act. Again, that is a clear indicator of Ohio. Ohio is just not good with taking care of kids in general. I can't take your child from you because you kept your kid in timeout too long, the cousin added. I can't take him from you even though I know you're feeding the other two kids more than you're feeding him. Franklin County Children's Services have been working with the family since May of 2022. The agency said they offered numerous support services to Martonio's mother in that time period, during which police were also a constant presence. Law enforcement also appeared at the home at least 13 times. And in the year and a half leading up to Martonio's death. And y'all still left him there to die, to be killed, to be murdered. In the end, those episodic state interviews were not enough. As part of her plea before Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, Lowe received 342 days of pretrial detention credit. Wilder is currently slated to appear in court on July the 15th, which is next month. That's literally 30 days from today, depending on when you're watching this. So we'll do another update and tell you guys what her ultimate sentence is going to be. But let me give you guys the fair usage, and then we'll go from there. Take a look at the news videos.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Sarah, I will give you credit and much love. You literally took the words out of my mouth. There's no such thing as stealing food when these kids are hungry. Food that is in the house. That's crazy. And then you find out that this child ended up dying and clearly was starved. Like, what is he? That is sadistic beyond any comprehension. That is just unusually cruel. Y'all do me a favor and share Martonio's story. Please hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. But let's get into this. Only got a couple news videos.
LaShonda Wilder now charged with murder in her 8-year-old son's death. Our cameras were at Wilder's home Friday night, hours after police found the body of Martonio in a trash bag hidden in the attic. Officers began looking for Martonio after his mom contacted police, saying she had not seen her son since he went to bed Thursday. Wilder's brother did not want to go on camera. He tells me over the phone that his sister is evil and says she has dealt with anger issues her whole life and says her sons were happy and joyful when they were not around her. Police last saw Wilder with her girlfriend, Jonna Lowe, and officers say the two became uncooperative during the search for Martonio. According to a police report, Wilder at one point did not want a canine officer brought into her home. The two women now charged with obstructing justice after leaving the home with Wilder's two sons without telling police.
I think it's a tragedy.
Eric Glenn lives across the street from Lowe. It's there police found Wilder's two young boys when family members contacted authorities minutes after an Amber Alert was issued for them.
I'm saddened at the fact the little boy lost his life, and that these people who are on the run need to turn themselves in.
Both women turning themselves in separately to authorities at Columbus Police Headquarters a little after 5 Saturday evening.
Please, can I get a food here? My 8-year-old son ran away last night.
For the first time, we are hearing from a mother who is accused of killing her 8-year-old son.
Columbus police releasing the 911 calls LaShonda Wilder made on Friday, telling police that her son had gone missing. Wilder now behind bars, charged with murder. It isn't her first interaction with police. We'll send it over to Kate Seifert now. What are you learning, Kate?
Well, Bob Sasha, this stack of papers I'm holding now outlines 13 incidents where Columbus police responded to LaShonda Wilder's home over the last year and a half. This all, of course, leading up to the death of 8-year-old Martonio Wilder. We're digging into these, but first, Columbus police, as Bob and Sasha mentioned, also sending us those 911 calls that LaShonda made, telling police that her son was missing. Take a listen.
Please, can I get a food here? My 8-year-old son ran away last night. We all went to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. My back door was wide open.
You said he's done this before?
Yeah, but we found him, though. He had jumped out my window before I found him inside of my house. He just keeps trying to run away. I don't know why. He said he hates me.
Just hours after these calls, Columbus police say they found Martonio Wilder's body in the attic of his mother, LaShonda Wilder's home, hidden in a trash bag. So we're digging into the criminal history at her Milo Grogan home. Take a look at this. New records from the Department of Public Safety show police were called to LaShonda Wilder's home 13 times since January 2023. Police were here on June 28th after Wilder told them her son Martonio was missing. Just 8 days prior, police were at the home for a disturbance.
13 opportunities to save this baby's life, and they still failed. 13? Not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12. 13 times, and they took no action to save this boy's life.
And the list goes on. CPD was called to this home on Olmsted Avenue 3 times for domestic violence, twice for domestic disputes, and even for a stabbing, all since January 2023. We are also learning new details about the arrest of Wilder's girlfriend, Jonna Lowe.
And again, I've said this about these LGTB couples, the women's side. And I've told y'all, these little MFers are violent. Their emotional connection, they don't have really a sexual connection. They have more of an emotional connection, which is why statistically they end up fighting more. I've talked about that ad nauseum in plenty of other videos when we talk about LGTB. Not saying all are bad or nothing like that. What I'm saying is that there's a propensity for violence when it comes to female-on-female couples because they have no tie really sexually. Their tie is emotional, and they tend to fight and argue more. Physically, they get into more trouble because more times than none, when you see women fighting, the system doesn't do anything. The law doesn't do anything a lot of times. You see You see more women fights on Facebook, Instagram, all these other places. Bunch of women fighting, not a lot of arrest. You see a lot of fighting, not a lot of arrest, right? So it breeds into their minds that they think it's okay to fight. They're going to get away with it. So yes, they would naturally tend to fight with each other quite a bit more.
Saturday, police said both Lowe and Wilder turned themselves in at Columbus Police Headquarters. But our cameras were at Lowe's home on Saturday, where there was a big police presence. Neighbors say Lowe was just taken into custody there.
She was handcuffed. They came in, patted her down, and shortly thereafter they came and took her away.
New reports we obtained Tuesday confirm she was arrested at her home Saturday afternoon after she called police saying she wanted to talk to detectives. Lowe appeared in court Monday. She's charged with obstructing justice and is being held on a $500,000 bond. Wilder did not.
And before any LGTB get their pennies or weird underwear in a bunch, before y'all get y'all underwear in a bunch, let me just say, hashtag not all. It don't apply to all of y'all, right? A lot, any, even one is too effing many. I don't want no violence towards kids at all, let alone them being around the violence or having the violence inflicted on them in this situation. I don't know why I said weird underwear. I don't know. Something wrong with me. I'm just going to speak the first thing that comes to my mind. And I just think LGTB, I just don't think it's natural. But that's my opinion. All right. So let's get past that. All right.
Not appear in court. She's being held on a $1.5 million bond and charged with murder.
LaShonda's two other kids were part of an Amber Alert on Friday. They are safe in the care of the Franklin County Children's Services. We are working to learn more from Children's Services right now. A spokesperson there tells me caseworkers have been working with LaShonda Wilder since May of 2022, and they offered her resources such as case management, referral assistance, and behavioral health support. I asked if LaShonda took advantage of any of these services, and I'm waiting to hear back about that.
With each passing day,
you might switch handcuffs.
Updated.
Investigators what she knew about the case.
Okay, come on out.
These images capturing the moments Columbus police arrested Jonna Lowe.
Yeah. She's being cooperative. You might switch handcuffs with me. Yeah.
Lowe can be heard on an officer's body camera speaking to police for the first time, telling responding officers she was all set to talk to investigators following the death of 8-year-old Martonio Wilder.
I'm ready to talk to the detective.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're not going to ask you really any questions. That'll be for the detective.
Police say the young boy's body was found just a day before this interaction. The 8-year-old discovered hidden in this Milo Grogan home back on June 28th. Lowe, along with Martonio's mother, LaShonda Wilder, both behind bars, facing a long list of charges, from endangering children to murder. For weeks now, our team uncovering details in this case, including a history between the Wilder family and Children's Services. This video and evidence collected by police expected to be key in the court case moving forward.
We're
coming up on 12:15 with breaking news to tell you about right now. The girlfriend of the mother of 8-year-old Martonio Wilder will now spend life in prison in connection with his death. You'll remember back in June of 2024, an Amber Alert went out for Martonio after his mother called the police saying he was missing. Martonio was found hours later dead in the attic of the home where that call was made. According to the report, Martonio's death was the result of strangulation. Jonna Lowe pleaded guilty to murder and abuse of a corpse. She will have the chance at parole after 15 years. Lowe's girlfriend and Martonio's mother, LaShonda Wilder, are expected in court on August 18th. She's facing similar charges.
LaShonda Wilder and girlfriend Jonna Lowe both turning themselves separately Saturday evening after being on the run from Columbus police.
I think it's a tragedy.
This is the scene Friday night, hours after police were called to the 1000 block of Olmsted Avenue. Officers began looking for 8-year-old Martonio Wilder after his mom claimed she had not seen her son since he went to bed Thursday night. Officers say throughout the search, Wilder and Lowe became uncooperative during the search. The police report says LaShonda Wilder did not want a canine officer in her home. Neighbors in the area shocked.
Even though he's up in heaven with God right now, he shouldn't be. I mean, he should be right down here being a boy playing. But instead, he's up in heaven.
Police records show at 6:20 Friday evening they made the horrible discovery. The young boy was found dead in a trash bag in the attic. The mother and girlfriend leaving the scene without telling police. A brief Amber Alert was issued for Wilder's other 2 young children and canceled hours later after they were found safe. Family members not speaking on the incident.
Is anybody able to talk to us about Jonna and what happened?
Both women are now in the Franklin County Jail. Police investigating this incident as a homicide, upgrading the charges for mother LaShonda Wilder to murder. Both Wilder and Lowe also charged with obstruction of justice. Neighbors in disbelief of a young life gone too soon.
It's just the fact that it's sad. It's sickening.
Jeremiah Wilcox reporting.
Like I say, again, the only thing that makes sense is really to give them a lot of years in prison. And I think because the biological mother allowed her son to have this inflicted upon him, I think that makes it more egregious, even though she might not have done the actual, well, she watched it all the way through. Yeah. So yes, I do believe that they actually should have got the exact same sentences. Same thing, even though you can't charge them with the exact same charges, but they should get the same amount of time in prison. Both of these individuals are horrible folks. And I hope that, you know, what was that saying? I can't remember how it goes, like something in hell. I forget how it does. But they don't need jail time. They need hell time, right? I forget what it is. I can't remember. It was a lady that I watched, and she said, I hope you do well in hell or something like that. I don't remember. But nonetheless, to Martonio, let me see if I can get his picture back up here real quick. Young Prince, R.I.P. Like, he was just doomed, and they had 13 opportunities to save this boy's life. But y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and please share these videos and make them go viral, okay? Thank you very much.